Welcome to District 4 Town Hall meeting. Give yourselves a hand, please, for arriving this morning. The theme of this District 4 Town Hall meeting is entitled Health, Wealth, and Strong Community Growth. And use the flyer that identifies the agenda. I'm going to give you some talking points regarding District 4 and the city, of which you can then make notes and be able to refer those notes and share with other people in the community. So it goes as follows. The District 4 Town Hall meeting, August 22nd. Special Olympics World Games 2015. As a community, the City of Englewood hosted the delegation from Jamaica during the City of Englewood's Host Town events, held July 21st to the 23rd. The contingent of 91 athletes, coaches, and chaperones were treated to an outstanding Host Town welcome ceremony at the Fabulous Forum featuring news sportscaster Jim Hill, NBA athletes Paul Pierce, Reggie Theus, along with World Olympic medalist Marilyn White and Althea Moses. Tours of Hollywood, the California Science Center, and the Santa Monica Pier were also included. A wonderful Host Town closing ceremony was held at the hotel, and local barber Trevor Graham provided free haircuts to the athletes, and many of them accepted the offer. Special thanks to the 11 District 4 Host Town volunteers who helped us during this event. If you're here this morning, please stand and be recognized. Gene Barton, Anthony Bonner, Patricia Buckner, Helena Tynes, Dorothy Cole, Yolanda Hargraves, Brenda Tannehill, Harold Taylor, Tiny Taylor, LaRonda Eccles, and Jim Sparks. Anybody else that also helped us as volunteers for the host committee, please stand and be recognized. Let's give them a hand if you would, please. Thank you. You may be seated. The City of Englewood News. This is when you need your pencils to start taking notes. Viewing of town hall meetings. For those that do not have access to Englewood Time Warner cable channel, you will be able to view this meeting along with previous District 4 Town Hall meetings via YouTube link on the City of Englewood website, located at www.cityofenglewood.org. For those of you who have access to a computer, a set of Town Hall meeting DVDs are delivered to the District 4 ICOP Center and are available for free checkout for viewing by you, your family, and or your block club. Mary, you can come right up. The District 4 ICOP Center is located at 2666 West Imperial Highway in the Crenshaw Imperial Shopping Center. Mr. Aaron Elzey, please stand to be recognized. Mr. Elzey is our ICOP liaison and you can reach him by calling 310-330-5346, or you may stop by Monday through Thursday between 11 and 4. So you can check out this DVD as well as all the other city council and town hall meetings that we have available. Now I'm going to stop my comments and we'll resume them, but I have an individual that is the person that is leading us into the new, I'll say, light of the world. We are getting international recognition because of the vision that this council has, and it's all because one man had a vision, and we bought into the vision, and we've had harmony ever since he's been with us. Please help me recognize for the State of the City comments our distinguished Mayor, James T. Butts, Jr.
Thank you, Councilman Franklin. You know, when I took office, you know, we've done a State of the City every year since, and in the beginning, it was focused on how bad things were and what we had to fix. Then it focused on how bad things are, but these are the things we're going to do to fix them. And the beautiful thing now is all I have to talk about is the things that we've done. If you own a home, you should be happy. Property values have increased based on actual home sales since 2012 by 51% in the city of Inglewood. Moody's Investment Services increased the bond rating of the city in February this year. We entered into public-private partnerships for a number of city services, one of them being tree trimming. We used to have 3 city employees, and they could trim about 1,200 trees a year. And we have about 19,000 trees in our inventory. So that meant if you were lucky, you could get your tree trimmed every 19 years. All right? We contracted out the service. We saved $500,000 a year. We took those employees that were trimming trees, put them in the parks for park maintenance, and now we trim 6,000 trees a year for $500,000 a year less. So now you can get your tree trimmed probably every 3 years. Roadways. The city basically has stopped resurfacing roadways except for emergencies. The council has worked to shepherd one-time money. We put all of our one-time money into infrastructure, and we have done more miles of roadway resurfacing in the last 3 years than we've done in the last 25 years put together. If you're in the area for sound insulation, when I came in office, we had lost our authorization for our sound insulation grants. The deal was that LAWA gave us about $9.2 million a year, and we were supposed to turn in a grant implementation plan, meaning we were going to insulate these homes, design them, and insulate these homes. And it was such a popular program that some members of the council asked more homes to be put in design than there was money to construct. And so when the end of the year came, staff could not prove that the houses had been constructed, so we lost authorization for the next year's $9.2 million grant. And we lost 4 of those in a row. And so when I came in office, I went to Washington and met with LAWA and entered into an agreement with them that we would prove that the money had not been misspent, just mismanaged, and that we would implement an aggressive construction program. In the last 3 years, we've received $75 million from LAWA and the FAA, and we have insulated over 2,500 homes. By the end of the program, everyone that's authorized, including people that are in what we have constructed as a neighborhood equity program, meaning end of the block, if you're next door to someone on your block that got their home insulated, your home will be insulated too. So everyone that's eligible by the end of the program will receive sound insulation, and we're very, very proud of that. We have the #1 sound insulation construction program in the nation at this point. As far as crime, Councilman Franklin, the council, and I picked a new police chief about 3 years ago, Mark Fronterada. He's been outstanding. We are in the midst of the 5 lowest consecutive years of crime in the history of the city of Inglewood right now. Crime is lower now than it has ever been. When we attracted Madison Square Garden to make their only West Coast operation here in the city of Inglewood, they agreed to spend $50 million to renovate the Forum. The project mushroomed. They ended up spending $100 million to renovate it. And by the end of 2014, in less than 11 months, the Forum was the #1 concert venue in the greater Los Angeles area. We have 25% more concerts than the Staples Center, and that continues to this day. The Forum is the #1 venue for artists to play because of its excellent sound propagation projects, and that's here in the city of Inglewood. And I know that a lot of you have heard about, the NFL. Stan Kroenke bought the 60 acres. Well, that project is still underway, and if authorization is received in the October meeting of the NFL, then construction will start by mid-December on the 80,000-seat specification NFL stadium. So I could go on and on, but this is Councilman Franklin's meeting. But I just wanted to tell you that I have worked for 3 different cities, run 3 large operations. The largest was I had 1,100 employees at the Los Angeles Road Airport System. This was the most difficult project that I've ever been involved in but it is the most satisfying because the council and I and the other members of the council have had the extreme pleasure of delivering results for 109,000 people. And that's what you deserve. So we want to thank you for your support, and we look forward to even greater things in the future. Thank you, Councilman Franklin.
Give me a hand. You have contact with the department? Before the mayor runs to his next event, he will take a few questions or comments if there are any. Gentleman in the back. Yes, with a hat.
You're in the back.
I was wondering, who do you contact in order to get your trees trimmed? I got property on Darby Avenue, and the street sweeper won't even sweep the streets because the tree is too low.
Well, actually, that is run out of Public Works, so if you call and ask for the Public Works Department.
I'm pretty sure my manager has many times. They don't even,
Well,
the
you
street
know-
sweepers won't even come because the trees are too low. I think that they.
I don't know what else I can tell
Okay.
you. Please.
Me.
Okay.
And if you don't get a result, you call him.
Okay, well, I thought that they would at least be able to report it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You would
You know,
call
they should have
Public-
reported if they worked there. I don't know,
You would
but,
call the Public Works Department, and remember, it's 19,000 trees. And so if you think you've got a tree that's not being trimmed.
no, they know it's not trim. But okay, thank you.
I'm saying call the councilman.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Young lady. We'll get you a mic.
Thank you. I know that we're supposed to be on a list, I'm told. The alleys are beginning to look, have begun a long time ago, to look like somewhere else other than Inglewood. They no longer, the drivers or the cleanup people no longer sweep the alleys. And I live where the alleys, we go into our garages from there, between Cullivan and 111th. And I'm told that we're number 19 on the list. But there are weeds growing in it, there are holes. They've come in and over the years and just try to put little makeup thingies in it. But it's terrible. It's never been resurfaced. I've been there over 40 years, and it has never been resurfaced. And it's only 1 block long. When is that going to happen?
Well, I can't sit here and tell you when that block is going to be done. What I can tell you is that I believe that it hasn't been done in 40 years, and so then you can imagine what we were up against when we finally started spending money on capital improvements. The reality is the city can't be done all at once, and there are going to be some streets that are done near the end. So that being said, Councilman Franklin's assistant is going to get the address of your alley, and he'll be able to give you a specific answer as to when that alley is scheduled to be done. All right?
The gentleman first. Which was the first? Gentleman in the hat first. Gentleman in the hat, then the gentleman in front. Use the mic, please. Use the mic.
Will they be crossing 108th Street for the sound window soundproofing?
North or south?
South.
No. It's not under the sound
Corridor.
corridor.
This gentleman was next right in front.
Okay, while I'm kind of right here, I do want to know that one of the alleys on Wilkie, between 109th and 108th there, that alleyway is being done. So we do have one alleyway in our area.
We're making progress, yes. There was a young lady over here I saw, right here. We need a mic, and then we'll need to take one more question, and we need to move on.
He was
I'm
waiting.
sorry, I didn't.
He was waiting. No. We get you next. We'll get you next.
My question may have already been answered. I was asking, could we still apply for the sound installation?
Actually, everyone that's in the sound corridor, the corridors were mapped by the FAA decades ago, and they did sound measurements. And if you were in the corridor, you would have received an invitation letter from the sound installation program, and you would either opt in or decline. So if you haven't received a letter yet, you're not in the corridor.
If in October, when the NFL has its meeting, and they don't designate a team for this facility, does that mean it's off the grid and we go back to the original plan to put housing?
Well, that's a big it depends. Remember, right now, this used to be a project of the Hollywood Land Development Company that was financed by Stockbridge Capital. And then at some point, Stan Kroenke the Kroenke Group bought the 60 acres that formerly belonged to Walmart. They entered into a joint venture wherein the Kroenke Group, at the end of the development, will own everything except the residential housing, the public streets, and the public parks. And so that decision is going to be up to the developer as to whether or not, if the team is awarded at that time, that construction will go on for the stadium. He may go on and build it before the NFL makes its decision.
One final question, young lady. Gentlemen, can't see the lights on.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I would just like to piggyback on what the lady was saying. I appreciate the councilman coming out and looking at the alley in the back of our homes. And all they're doing is patching up. And that patchwork, every time it rains, it doesn't work. And I noticed that you have funds to complete the alley across from us, which is between 108th and Cullivan. But I don't understand, we pay tax, and we have been asking for years for you to do that alley, and it has never, never been done. And you keep saying that I can't tell you when that alley, and it's not even a block long, I don't think, that it must be done. And it must be done.
I'm glad you brought it up, because that is one of the items I'm in process of putting in my budget. Just to piggyback, there's 2 bad alleys that are still remaining in the Inglewood Knolls. One is, where's Dorothy Cole? And I believe that's 111th Street to Imperial Highway. And then the smaller one is Cullivan that actually loops out into Spinning. And that's the 2 primary ones I'm working on for next year's budget. So hold me up in prayer on that. All right?
Oh, it's not coming this year?
I said this upcoming budget. Our budget year is October 1st to September 30th. That's the budgeted year. And just all this week, the mayor and the council had not 1 but 3 workshops dealing with the budget. And those are one of the top items that came up was alleys. All right.
And we're attempting now to where we can use concrete instead of asphalt. It'll be more expensive, but they will last longer. And, you know, I do empathize with everyone that hasn't had their alleys done in 40 years. This council's only been constituted for 4. And we don't make excuses, we deliver results. But the reality is, there is not enough money to do every street at once. And what we've done is we've leapfrogged from east of Crenshaw to west of Crenshaw. We start off east of Crenshaw, do $1 million worth of streets, and then west of Crenshaw, do $750,000 worth of sidewalks. And then we flip it. And then now we're on alleys. So bear with us. It will be done. But there's a lot that needs to be done here with our infrastructure. Our water system, 60 years old. It had not been renewed. Now we do 2 miles of sewer and pipes every year. We do the things that people don't see, that elected officials don't focus on. Your infrastructure is like the circulatory system of your body. If you don't take care of your water system, your roadways, the body will die, people will leave, and they won't come, and other people won't replace them. So we've been doing the responsible things. Are we able to do it fast enough for the people that have waited? Probably not. But the reality is that we will deliver. And the next thing is that the contract award for Century Boulevard will occur at the end of September, and they should start their work the end of September, beginning of October. Century is going to be redone, a complete reconstruction of the roadway, starting from Van Ness and La Cienega, and they're going to meet in the middle. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye, and thank you very much for your time.
Let's give him a hand if you would, please. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. I like these tough love questions because the key is your comments to me is what helps me work with the Public Works Department, et cetera, on trying to get the funding appropriated. There's only so much money to go around, and the 5 of us fight to find out who gets what where. And so the gas tax money is the only money I'm allowed to appropriate for alleys, particularly for those residents that is on the east side of Crenshaw Boulevard in my council manager district. So my goal, as you see me doing some improvements in the alleys, I'm now making forward for the next wave of alleys to be done. And those 2 alleys that we just talked about are the top priority alleys that I have on that I have presented for my budget for this coming fiscal year. Now, I was remiss trying to get the meeting started on time and to work out all the logistics. I normally don't start a meeting without prayer, and I missed my prayer. And also, I missed my Pledge of Allegiance. So we're going to back up a little bit. We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we're also going to have prayer. Amen? So if I can get you to stand up, we'll salute the colors, and then immediately following will be Brenda Sewsbury from Center of Hope Church. Right hand over your heart. Let's begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing while Ms. Sewsbury leads us in prayer.
Good morning. Father, we come before you with praise and thanksgiving, just giving you grace and honor. We are asking you, Lord, to bless this food we're about to receive for nourishment of our bodies. In the name of your Son, Jesus, amen.
You may be seated. And I hope you heard what she said. Grace, have mercy on me. All right, everyone's got their pens out and papers. We're going to finish my talking points before we get to the next speaker. I just finished talking to you regarding the viewing of the town hall meetings. I want to also talk now regarding job opportunities. Our job opportunities email listing has been in place for almost 5 years now, and we continue to experience tremendous success. Thank you to the many individuals, organizations, and churches who are taking the time to pass this information along to family members, neighbors, customers, and members. Those who have an interest in being added to our jobs list can simply provide your name and email address to the sign-in sheet or contact my council assistant, Ms. Claudette Matthews, at our district office at 310-412-8605. Emergency numbers. At the registration table, please pick up the latest version of the emergency numbers list to access both city and local contractor and utility services. Southern California Gas. Today, the Southern California Gas representative, Mr. Mike Harrell, will provide information on pipeline safety enhancement plan for hydro testing project, its timeline, and expected impacts, particularly on Crenshaw Boulevard. Public Works, Century Boulevard Mobility Improvement Project. Construction is expected on Century Boulevard Mobility Improvement Project. As you heard the mayor, the bids are actually going out in September, but we anticipate the construction to commence in November 2015. The project will begin simultaneously at both La Cienega Boulevard on the west and Van Ness Avenue on the east. So we can now move inward because we're doing great progress on getting the Hollywood Park development moving forward. It'll include the improvements of streets, sidewalks, and driveway approaches, along with the additional new signal lights. The traffic impacts on this project are substantial and will result in intermittent lane closures that will impact drivers for months or even years, as our current anticipated completion date is scheduled for the summer of 2017. District 4 capital improvement projects. For our budget year of 2014-15, the Public Works Department has completed and is in the process of completing several of these projects in District 4. The District 4 alley improvement project for the alleys between 108th on the north to 109th on the south streets, from Crenshaw Boulevard to Spinning, and the alley between Van Ness Avenue and Spinning Avenue from 108th Street to Cullivan Street include the addition of new cement driveway approaches and partially sidewalk replacement have been completed. New no dumping and no parking in the alley signage have been posted in these locations. Again, reemphasizing, my next two alleys are the ones that both the residents in the various alleys that spoke about earlier today. The street improvement project on 4th Avenue between 104th and 108th Streets, including new asphalt and restriping, has also been completed. The sidewalk improvement project is currently underway in several areas through the district, including 113th Street, Wilkie Avenue, and will include several other areas prior to completion, which is tentatively scheduled for September 30th. For those residents that live in those areas, I want to stress there are many, many, many temporary inconveniences. Dirt piles will exist, and access to your driveways and curbs will be limited and or prohibited. However, the end result will be the appreciation for the many years to come of the project of having a good quality street and alleys, driveways. The drought and its impact to you. Information on the current landscape irrigation schedules and regulations for both City of Inglewood Water and Golden State Water companies can be found at the registration table, and they are different. So be sure, knowing your water companies, that you make sure you pull that out, because parking, they have already started the enforcement for violations. So if you have Golden State Water, make sure you get that flyer today. If you have City of Inglewood Water, get that flyer, know what days of the week and what hours of the day and how long you're allowed to water, and what penalties may be imposed upon you, as high as $500 for each violation. So be sure you get that handout. You're encouraged to get those copies and share with your family, members, friends, and neighbors. You may also be experiencing an increase in the number of ants, spiders, and other pests invading your home. If so, please know that they too are looking for your precious water. Illegal dumped and abandoned items. Any illegal dumped or abandoned items found along the streets and alleys can be picked up by the Republic Services free of charge. How much it costs? Free of charge. To report any illegal dumped or abandoned items, contact Inglewood Republic Service Office at the following number: 310-436-7341. I repeat, if you have any illegal dumped items, and it doesn't have to be in front of your house, it could be your neighbors, down the block, around the corner, just in the middle of the island of the city, call 310-436-7341. Items can be reported before 12 p.m. Monday through Friday will be picked up on the same day. Items reported after 12 p.m. will be picked up the next business day, and there are no pickups on Saturdays or Sundays. Abandoned shopping carts. Any shopping carts that are found abandoned in and around our city sends the wrong message. We are a community that takes pride not only in our personal property, but our city as a whole. Should you see any abandoned shopping carts, they can be picked up free of charge. How much it costs? Free of charge, with just a phone call. If the shopping cart is filled with debris of any sort, please contact the City Yard, that's the Inglewood City Yard, at the following number: 310-412-5340. Again, the City Yard for shopping carts with debris, 310-412-5340. If the shopping cart is empty, nothing's inside, you can contact the California Shopping Cart Retrieval Service. Again, the California Shopping Cart Retrieval Service for an empty shopping cart at 1-800-252-4613. Repeat, 1-800-252-4613. Street lights remained on along Crenshaw Boulevard. There was a recent report of a series of street lights on Crenshaw Boulevard from 108th Street to Century Boulevard, which were not going off at daybreak. Upon further investigation and your calls to me, Public Works staff confirmed that there had been several photo cells that had failed, which have since been replaced. You are also encouraged to use emergency numbers that have been provided to you to report other lighting matters, whether they are on residential streets or on a main thoroughfare. For example, I just reported a light out, a signal light out right at Imperial Highway going westbound at Doty. The light has gone out, and so they're going to replace it on Monday. Economic development. Now downtown Inglewood Transit-Oriented Development Plan workshops, the second of 3 downtown Inglewood workshops is scheduled for Tuesday, September 15th at 7 p.m. in the Parish Hall at St. John Chrysostom Church. The focus for this meeting will be review conceptual development plan alternatives, The meeting is free, and comments from Inglewood residents are welcome and encouraged. For more information, please visit the registration table to pick up the flyer. It's in English and Spanish. This is in reference to getting ready for the light rail system that will be coming to Inglewood with 2 train stations. One will be at Redondo Beach Boulevard, Redondo and Florence. The other one will be at the intersection of Neil Hillcrest and Florence. So we want to get your input on that. Hollywood Park Casino, where we are here today. At the August 18th City Council meeting, the mayor and council adopted the resolution of 1, the card club license for the Hollywood Park Casino Company, 2, that Mr. Chris Meany as the point holder for the permit, and 3, the issuance of key management employee permits for several of the Hollywood Park Casino personnel. The city's internal investigation of these individuals included a rigorous crime background check conducted by the Inglewood Police Department, and there were no adverse findings. We're now moving forward with the relocation of the casino on the property. It will be facing Century Boulevard. It will be a brand new state-of-the-art casino at a cost of more than $80 million. Tenant changes at Century. Many of you may be aware that Office Depot at Village Century is closing, as they have elected not to renew their lease, and I advise you at the April 25th Town Hall meeting that Bed Bath & Beyond has also elected not to renew their lease. In an effort to ensure that a series of empty tenant units does not become a trend, I've addressed this concern with Property Management Company and expressly communicated that the residents want and deserve to have a top quality retail tenants in our community. Based on the information, if those are remember, a couple years ago I had you help me complete a survey because I wanted to find out where you shop. So I used that surveys for you to let me know where the retail stores that you shop at, which is part of this improvement that we now have. Based on the information that you provided me on the types of stores that you'd like to see in the city, the Property Management Company has confirmed that the Gap and Old Navy will move into a portion of the Bed Bath & Beyond tenant space. Contract approvals are pending for the proposed new tenant for the Office Depot space. And when the approvals are finalized, the identity of that new tenant or tenants will be released. New businesses, auto sales. In the area that has formerly been an abandoned lot where illegal and abandoned items were regularly dumped, there is a new business, auto sales. It has only been open for a few months, and auto sales is located at 113th Street, just on Prairie Avenue, offers a host of new and used cars. It's 113th and Prairie, right near the Hollywood Park sign by Imperial and Prairie. Unsolicited proposals. Due to tremendous growth and excitement surrounding current and future activities in the city of Inglewood, the city is receiving a record number of unsolicited proposals for economic development projects, which include an unprecedented number of business and marketing advertisement, housing, business and retail development. Code enforcement. Code enforcement has been diligently working on addressing several issues in the district, among them the illegal street vendors, illegal garage conversions, alleged squatter activity, overgrown, unkept landscaping, and deteriorating home exteriors. If you see or suspect illegal activity, please note the activity and location and contact the Code Enforcement Division at the following number: 310-412-5590. Repeat, 310-412-5590. And I see some are looking at the city directory. Those numbers may be on there, so scan that. If you find it, mark it. If not, write the number down, 310-412-5590. We also want to publicly thank the code enforcement staff for citing those businesses, particularly restaurants, which have failed to secure the dumpsters to prevent the overflow trash and debris and the stench that has permeated into our community. In addition, I want to thank the code enforcement staff for their enforcement actions regarding the refuse dumping at the abandoned gas station located at the corner of Imperial Highway and Yukon Avenue. The property is in the process of being cleaned up this week. However, the property will continue to be monitored to ensure the total removal of the debris. Parking enforcement. Oversized vehicles such as RVs, boats, trailers, longer than 20 feet are not permitted to park on residential streets for more than 24 hours. Because of their size, when parked on the street, they often reduce the visibility of the drivers who may be backing out or entering a driveway, which prevents drivers from seeing individuals who may be or crossing the street. If you see an oversized vehicle parked on the street for more than 24 hours, please contact parking enforcement at 310-412-8732. Repeat, parking enforcement, 310-412-8732. Park Recreation and Library Service, the new Inglewood Line Trolley. As of July 28th, the City Council meeting, the Mayor and Council approved the purchase of a new I-Line trolley to support the I-Line shuttle program. The new trolley will be a vintage street car style, accommodating 28 passengers, and will be outfitted with an alternative fuel application. The trolley will operate Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 and is free to the public. It's on display right outside of the table of all the different exhibits, and you'll be able to see where they stop at and take advantage of that free opportunity. I want to address the issue regarding the police department, the homeless and homelessnesses. Inglewood Police Department Community Affairs, People Assisting the Homeless, known as PATH, and the St. Margaret's Center Catholic Charities have been very successful in their efforts to address and resolve issues related to the homeless and homeless encampments in our community. Several persons have been moved off the streets and into appropriate housing or have been united with their families. Homeless encampments impact the image and quality of life in our community, and the Inglewood Police Department Community Affairs Division is addressing these challenges with kindness and compassion. If you see any homeless person or encampments, please notify the Inglewood Police Department's Community Affairs Division at the following number. Homeless encampments or homeless persons, 310-412-5530. 310-412-5530. I'm almost through. Illegal fireworks and gunfire. Over the 4th of July holiday and in the days and weeks before and immediately following, you may have heard sounds similar to bombs or cannons that may have been a combination of illegal fireworks and gunshots. Please be advised that only safe and sane fireworks are permitted for sale in the city of Inglewood. If you're still hearing the illegal activity, you're encouraged to call the Inglewood Police Department at 310-412-8771. Again, illegal fireworks and gunfire, please call the Inglewood Police Department at 310-412-8771. Residential outages. Due to the hot temperatures and high humidity, depending on where you live, you may be experiencing blackouts or brownouts, which is a reduction in or restriction of electrical power. If you are experiencing either of these issues, please contact the Southern California Edison at the following number: 1-800-611-1911. Again, 1-800-611-1911. And finally, thank you in advance for your patience and understanding with the ongoing Hollywood Park project, forum events, water and gas line replacement projects, street closures, lane closures, increased traffic on several of our major thoroughfares. We have a lot going on. However, all of our efforts are going to the result in a tremendous transformation of our city and our way of life. The best is yet to come. Again, thank you for your cooperation and understanding. That's my presentation. So if anyone has not received this information and made notes, shame on you. Question or comment?
When will the new senior citizen site be completed?
Actually, the question is, when will the senior center project be underway? This fall, we plan to have a new blueprint presented to us for it to be evaluated, and by the spring of next year, we'll be sending the bids out for development. It is over a $20 million project. But we have heard the residents speak louder than the seniors about we want Century Boulevard fixed first. And so the Century Boulevard project is over a $35 million project, and we're making that our priority right now. So we are still working on it, but we're giving the Century Boulevard our first priority. So now we need to move on to our guest speakers. One more comment, and then we'll move to our speakers.
Bed Bath & Beyond and Office Depot, I think it is?
Yes.
Have they cited the reason why they're leaving the city? Maybe
Lack of
it's something we need
sales.
to address as citizens.
Lack of sales.
Lack of sales.
Lack of sales.
Shop in your own neighborhood.
Lack of sales. That's exactly right. That is the reason why, I'm glad you brought it up. 2 years ago, I did that survey of where you shop. So then that way we can start bringing the retail tenants in here. And there's been several of them that thought, this is what you said you wanted. They bring it in, and it doesn't stay here. So thank you for your comment on that. But let's move on, if you don't mind, please. On the agenda, I have reached out that we have 2 groups that we want to make sure that we recognize, and that's Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority and the Top Ladies of Distinction. We have our own District 4 former president that is going to introduce the current president of the Kappas. Please help me recognize your neighbor, my friend, Mary Gwynn.
Good morning. Health, wealth, and strong community growth. We are here today, right? Are we here? Yes. Good. To Councilman Franklin? Yes. All public officials present, and to all of you, I'll say again, good morning. I want to say thanks to Councilman Franklin for allowing Top Ladies of Distinction Incorporated and Mu Beta Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority to participate on the agenda today. We hear an awful lot about what's happening, about what we see, but many things are happening that you do not know about. There are things such as operational and program. When we talk about health, we're talking about the participants and the clients and the residents in Inglewood. When we talk about wealth, how are we growing economically, and how are we retaining the residents within our area? So today, we're going to give you some information that you don't always see or recognize that are happening that would address each of the issues here. With us and sharing in the presentation, you'll hear what these organizations are doing to service in each of the areas. I can hardly see. Ms. Alice Grisby, who is recently retired from El Camino College, and you probably know her from having served on the Inglewood School Board for 12 years. How many of you know Ms. Grisby? All about educating and retaining the residents in our city, because if we don't have good schools, you know, we leave. Then we have Ms. Babette DeLay, who's going to speak in terms of what we are doing also with children, but a new project that we are bringing forth through Top Ladies of Distinction. But before we move forward, I would like to again recognize the recently elected president to Inglewood Chapter, Top Ladies of Distinction. Will you please stand, Ms. Northleaf? She's a resident for more than 40 years. Well, all other top ladies in the room stand. Any other top ladies? Very good. These are ladies who don't mind getting their hands dirty, because for years, Inglewood Chapter maintained the flowers in front of the post office on Hillcrest, because one focus is on beautification within the organization. So we're all out there getting our hands dirty and making sure it works. And for Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, will all AKAs in the room please stand? We don't mind showing our colors. You need not be a member of Mu Beta Omega, but we're all doing the same thing, and I would like for everyone to know. So with that, what you're going to hear today is a snippet of information about what each group is doing. We do this because we know that service is the rent that we pay for living on what? On this earth. So that's why we're here with a passion of humanitarian services. I would want you to know also the founding. Inglewood chapter of Top Ladies of Distinction was chartered on December 3rd, 1977 at the Airport Park Hotel, which was located at 90th and what? Prairie. We do move the dirt, don't we? Okay, because we see growth. A few months later, on May 21st, 1978, the Mu Beta Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Incorporated was chartered, would you believe, at the Airport Park Hotel. So what we hear is when we take away, it must be replaced with something good or even better. So some of the things that you're going to hear is what we're doing to replace and add to. Keep in mind, it's not about us in either of the organizations, but it's what we do to help others live a fruitful life as youth and adults. We have some critical issues here, and I heard Councilman Franklin mention the PATH program. We're involved in the PATH program. How many of you know what PATH is? Uh-oh. Let's get some help. Who knows? People assisting the homeless. We can talk about the homeless, but what are we doing about it? So I want you to know that this is an area that we're working with and we need to move forward. We know that two of the most effective tools we have to help people recover from mental illness and addiction are a home and a job. We must always look at the reaction we receive from the actions that are taken. We have the drought. Trees are dying, not only the lawns, but the trees. When trees are removed, how else are we affected? We have a reduction in what? Oxygen. And oxygen, a lack of oxygen, can create an increase in mental disabilities. So we must seek out ways in which we can combat and make sure that we are addressing all of the issues. I had my 3 minutes, and we're within the time span, so I'm going to call for Ms. Grisby to come up and share with you. Ms. Grisby is more than a resident for more than 40 years and has worked diligently within the organization. Following Ms. Grisby, then we'll hear from Ms. DeLay.
Thank you and good morning. I am Alice Grigsby. It's my pleasure to talk to you today about Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Founded in 1908, the oldest continuing sorority serving mainly women of color. It was founded at Howard University, and as Mrs. Gwynn mentioned, the chapter that I belong to, and have belonged to for 37 years, is the Mu Beta Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha that serves the city of Inglewood and Los Angeles County. Our mission is to serve this community with motivational, beneficial, and outstanding programs, MBO, that foster positive partnerships and promote service for all mankind. To achieve this mission, this chapter, as is true of all of the Alpha Kappa Alpha chapters, partner with local agencies because we want to get it done and to have a true impact. The chapter recently formed a foundation known as the Ivy Philanthropic Foundation that will work to secure funds to enhance the programming mission of our chapter. In the past few years, our partnerships have included the Miracle on Manchester Thanksgiving activity. With the unfortunate, I call it unfortunate, demise of this activity, the chapter currently supports the Jackson Limo annual turkey giveaway program, providing financial support and many, many hours of volunteer service. We worked with the then middle school, Warren Lane, to provide books for their library because literacy continues to be a program initiative of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. In 2012 through 2014, the chapter had a 2-year program called Emerging Young Leaders. And we worked with a selected group of students at one of the local ISEPT schools. And our goals were to help these young people develop good study habits as well as leadership skills. This year, we are supporting the National Ascend program at a local school that provides exceptional experiences for a group of 20 students that will include field trips as well as tutoring for these young people. There are 2 program plans that we have in the coming year that will need community and organizational partnerships. One is the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority has a project called 1908 Playground Projects. And the idea is that throughout this country, more than 1,908 playgrounds will be enhanced. Here in Inglewood, we are going to work with our Park and Recreational Department as well as community groups to enhance, restore, and renew at least one of the playgrounds here in our community. Secondly, as was mentioned by Mrs. Gwynn, we have a lot of awareness, but limited practical knowledge on how to handle mental illness and also Alzheimer's. So we are planning a fair in the coming year that will feature organizational representatives and presentations for caregivers, as well as those of us who are impacted by these areas. Last but not least, Alpha Kappa Alpha Mu Beta Omega chapter sponsors an undergraduate chapter at Cal State Dominguez Hills. And each of the members of our chapter serve as mentors for these undergraduates. Yes, Alpha Kappa Alpha's colors are pink and green. However, we network with all groups, all other Greek letter organizations, and other groups because our missions are similar. And we operate with a similar guiding principle. Alpha Kappa Alpha is a sisterhood that helps individual members develop and maintain constructive fellowships. We are your neighbors. We are involved in block club activities. We are involved in city activities. We are among the volunteers striving to make our community a better way and providing service in so many ways. Thank you for this opportunity to share with you a little bit about this noble organization, 107 years old, providing service to all mankind. Thank you. And if you want to know more about Alpha Kappa Alpha, we do invite you to visit our website. It is www.aka1908.com.
Good morning. As was introduced to you by Mrs. Gwen, Top Ladies of Distinction is a community service organization, and we are now celebrating 51 years of community service throughout the United States. We're very proud of that, as well as the fact that the Inglewood chapter has served your community for 37 years. We have 5 major programmatic thrusts, which are inclusive of community partnerships, such as what we're sharing this morning, senior citizens, improving the status of women, our #1 thrust, which is youth. We refer to our youth as Top Teens of America, and as well, and as you've heard, we do work with city beautification. This morning, I am here to present and to introduce you to one of our new projects that we are working with. It's known as the A-Team. The A-Team grew out of a collaboration between Juanita Sims Doty, who has a foundation in Mississippi, but it works throughout the United States, as well as Merle Evers. Now, you're familiar with her name as having served as president of the NAACP. As well, she is the widow of Medgar Evers. They had a foundation that they started, well, actually, that she started years ago. In her foundation, she did work towards ensuring that people knew of the legacy of Medgar Evers. She was able to meet with Juanita Sims Doty and to piggyback, in a sense, on a project that she started in Mississippi in 2012. That project was known as the Black Belt Foundation. Now, you know that we do have challenges, if you will, with our youth. And Juanita Sims Doty started this project, again known as the Black Belt Project, to encourage our young men to pull their pants up. And with that, each young man participating in that project was indeed presented with a black belt. It was a most successful project for improving self-esteem. And once Mrs. Evers heard of the project and spoke with Mrs. Doty, they combined both of their efforts to form the A-Team. The A-Team is an acronym that stands for Ambassadors of the Evers Academy for African American Males. They started this project in Mississippi at 3 middle schools. They asked young men to come to learn about Medgar Evers, to improve their self-esteem, to receive tutoring, to learn more about racial equity, and to begin to focus on what they actually want to do in life. It too was successful, but they were not presented with black belts. You see, they're ambassadors, and they want them to be proud of themselves and to stand up and to believe that what they dream can indeed come true, and to continue with the legacy of Medgar Evers. And so at each of their sessions, they were reminded of what he did, and not that he did it so long ago, but that what he started can still be continued today. At their initiation session, they were presented with a black tie. You see, a lot of our young men don't wear black ties. They don't wear ties at all, nor do they know how to actually tie a tie. And so each young man attended their session wearing black dress pants, a white dress shirt, and this black tie. It included a pen with the logo for the A-Team, A, ambassador, first, tops, meaning that yes, you can indeed do it. Each young man also had 2 mentors, not 1. They had 2 because they met each month. And we know that our adult males are very busy, in the community with their families, with their businesses. And so we wanted to ensure that each time one of these young men attended one of the sessions to train and to learn and to be encouraged, that they had a mentor there with them. And if both of them couldn't be there, at least one. You see, the program does follow the village prospect. It too was most successful. And our organization, Top Ladies of Distinction, heard about it. We were most interested because, as I've stated to you, the youth, top teens as we call them, of America are #1 as our programmatic thrust. And so we have collaborated with the A-Team along 5 regional areas throughout the United States. The Inglewood chapter was indeed chosen to be a pilot chapter for the West Coast, and we're proud to say that we are indeed on our way. With the sessions, we include etiquette, cultural activities, and indeed we have an honorary chair. We're very proud to say that our very own Ralph Franklin, our councilman, is the honorary chair for the A-Team for the Inglewood chapter. Please receive and accept him for that. We do appreciate the fact that you're here to hear about our program this morning and ask that any young man, middle-aged man, seasoned man who is willing to work with us to improve the lives of our youth, please work with us, contact us, speak with us this morning, and give us your name and your information. Please share all of that available time that you have and your talents. No treasure is needed. It's a free program. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm glad I have on the tie, and I know how to tie the tie. I don't know if you noticed, but those 3 ladies you heard earlier today, they were articulate, being able to address public speaking. And that's part of the outreach that these entrepreneurs do provide as mentors to help our youth become, which is our future of investment. I'd like to take a personal time at this point to move the agenda to ask the 3 ladies to please join me back, because on behalf of the City Council, we want to recognize your outstanding organizations. And as you're moving your way up to the front for your outstanding community service, they both say about the same, but please just bear with me while I read an excerpt from it. It is with great pride and pleasure that the Mayor and Council of the City of Inglewood, California, extend heartfelt appreciation to the Inglewood Chapter Top Ladies of Distinction Incorporated for your outstanding community service of the City of Inglewood, as well as the Mu Beta Omega Chapter Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority for your outstanding services. Today we recognize you for today we recognize your faithful partnership for the many years of service to our city and dedication to its residents. Your participation as members of the 2010 U.S. Census Inglewood Complete Count Committee and your support on several community services and projects, such as the many years, and I want to stress many years, of the Miracle on Manchester event that was held by the Salvation Army, the annual District 4 Christmas event, which is over a decade, provided toys and food to our foster parents, single parents, through gifts from the Heart program, and most recently supported the nonprofit organization One for All with school supplies for their back to school program. These are just a few of the many ways in which you have demonstrated your compassion and concern for improving the quality of life for our residents in the City of Inglewood, and we salute you on behalf of the Mayor and City Council. We thank you. Alphas and the Top Ladies of Distinction. Let's get right up front. We'll take a camera to get us real quickly, and then we'll move right on to the agenda. There we go. We already have the camera rolling. Those are our community ambassadors that not everyone sees. I want to recognize a few people I do see in the audience as we move on to the next speaker. I want to recognize for District 4 Commissioners and Liaisons, Commissioner Terry L. Coleman, Planning and Zoning Board. Is he up? Is he here? There he is over there. Commissioner Sheeby Walton, Civil Service Board of Review. District 4, Commissioner Barbara Brooks, Parks and Traffic Commission. She's over there. District 4, Commissioner Dr. Lois Dean Irving, Aviation Commission. Our liaison for our community center, Aaron Elzey. Senior Center Advisory Board, Dolly Morrison. In District 2, our Commissioner Jim Withrow for our Aviation Commission. And then, last but not least, our distinguished former Assemblyman Steve Bradford. We thank you very much for joining us. If I missed anybody, please see Ms. Matthews so I can get your name recognized as we move forward. Now, the reason why I really wanted you here is to find out quality of life in our community. I am very concerned for the next several weeks and or months how Crenshaw Boulevard may be another one of those thoroughfares that will be impeded or disrupted, and there will be lane closures. You need to know why and how long it's going to last. Please help me recognize from Southern Colorado Gas Company, Mike Harrell. Mike?
Good morning. I was very glad to be here to hear about the Ladies of Distinction. I think what they're doing is great, so I hope all of you support them in any way that you can, because you'd be surprised how many young men do not know how to tie a tie. My name is Mike Harrell. I am the Public Affairs Manager for the SoCal Gas Company assigned to the City of Inglewood, and my goal is to make sure that my company is not only a provider of reliable natural gas, but also a community friend and a good corporate citizen. So I thank the councilman for allowing me to take a little time to talk to you about our project that's impacting Crenshaw Boulevard, how it will impact you, but also the benefits of that project. So as many of you may know that there is some traffic impacts on Crenshaw Boulevard from 104th, moving north up as far as Century, but pretty much it'll be 102nd where most of our work will be taking place. We are doing what's called a hydro test of a new gas pipeline that we recently installed. This is work that is mandated by the federal government. It's not that we just chose Inglewood and decided we want to have a traffic impact and impede your quality of life, but it's something that we're mandated to do by the federal government. So even though we are mandated, we want to make sure that the impact to you is as little as possible. So I want to make sure that you're aware of what is going on. Partnered with the hydro test means that we are going to pump water into that new gas line, bring it up to a certain pressure, and verify that there are no leaks. In order for us to do that, we will be bringing in what's called Baker tanks, which are these large tanks that look like the large trash containers. And we need to bring in 24 of those that will be on either side of Crenshaw Boulevard from 104th to 102nd. I don't have a visual to show you, but the impact of that is going to be very visually impacting. If you would imagine these large, what look like dumpsters on both sides of Crenshaw Boulevard. In doing that, we're going to be taking a lane on the northbound side and the southbound side as well. So of course, traffic is going to be impeded. Those tanks are going to be installed on Crenshaw Boulevard roughly around September 22nd. It'll take a couple of days to put them all in place. They will be full of water. We will have guards 24 hours a day, 7 days a week that are actually watching and monitoring, and we'll also make sure that we have flag people to assist with the traffic moving down Crenshaw. It will take roughly about a week for us to do the hydro test. After that test is completed, we'll get those tanks out of there as quickly as possible. We'll get your street back to order, and you'll be able to maneuver down Crenshaw Boulevard the way you've always have. So we should be finished with all that work roughly around the middle of October, but definitely before the holidays. Again, I just want to make sure that everyone understands that we want to try to do everything that we can to make sure that we're not inconveniencing you, but I know there's going to be some inconvenience. School starts on Monday. I spoke with the police captain. We're going to have an additional crossing guard out in front of the school just in case there's some additional traffic with our lane closure to assist with that. According to the principal, he believes the first couple of days when the parents, deliver the children, they like to get out and park and walk them in and do all those things, that creates additional traffic. So we want to make sure that we're not impacting that. So we are going to be working with the city officials, with Councilman Franklin. Councilman Franklin is very concerned with his constituents. Anything that impedes your quality of life related to the gas company, he is not shy about calling me. And he does. Whether it's during the week or during the weekend, he will call to make sure that he gets up-to-date information. So you should really applaud him for that because he really is concerned about your well-being. Other than that, I just want to briefly mention, before we take some questions, our advanced meter program is also coming out, where we are changing out your meter dials so that they can be read electronically. The benefit of that is you no longer have to provide us with gate keys. You no longer have to lock up your animals. We will be able to read your meters remotely. You will be able to access your gas usage on a daily basis from your smartphone, from the computer, from the telephone. So we're really excited about this for the citizens of Inglewood. That program is slowly rolling out, and we'll have more information for you as we get closer to the full deployment. Are there any questions?
Any questions? So let me get you started. Century Heights in the house? Think of going southbound on Crenshaw and approaching 104th to make a left-hand turn. Can you? No. For the next 6 weeks or so, he said to October. So I want you to be made aware of that. The other thing was the issue is he just announced that the schools are opening up for Inglewood Unified Monday, August 24th. I'm concerned of my little children trying to get back and forth across Crenshaw to 104th. So the gas company has already agreed to go in their pocket to work with me and the police department of having a new crossing guard to assist us to handle that transition. And the police department will do their assessment to make a determination as to how often we need to have that kind of service and how long that service will continue. I also pulled the permit for this activity. And I want you to be made aware that there's a requirement that the gas company must notify the police and fire departments on their activities 1 week before they begin. 2, arrange the possibility of temporary relocation of the Metro bus stops that will be affected with the lane closures both south and north, both on Crenshaw Boulevard at 104th Street. And then finally, they're to notify all property owners, say all property owners within a half mile of the work site. A half mile of the work site. You know how long that is? Think of all the way at least to Doty to Van Ness. Half mile, including schools west of Crenshaw Boulevard along 104th Street, 72 hours before the work begins. That's 3 days. So I want you to be made aware of that. But it is to improve our quality of life. At least they're not using gas to find out if they got any leaks. And the other thing I found out in talking to my engineer for what they're doing is that they're using the water and it's going to be pressurized. Those pipes are going to hold that water for a certain period of time. Then they're going to be able to check whether or not there's leaks before it's drained. So those are my comments, and now we'll take your comments for the representative from the gas company. Yes.
Hi. I just want you to clarify
Century
the
Heights.
dates, the actual dates.
Well, the actual dates of the project, we've already started. So there's already lane closures throughout the day. The biggest impact is going to be September 22nd. That's when you're going to start to see those tanks arrive. It will take a couple of days to get them all in, and then once they are in and secured, we will pump up the gas line with water. It will take about a week for us to do that. And then we have to do what's called dewatering, which means we have to remove all the water out of the line. So it'll take a day or so to do that as well. So we're looking at the middle of October when we will be finished and out of the way, and we'll have the Crenshaw nicely paved, and you won't have to be bothered with us anymore, for a little while anyway.
Question or comments? Okay, let's give him a hand. Man, I tell you what, as preparation meets opportunity, I'm certainly glad you guys didn't crucify him, but identifying that it's considered a transition, temporary, subject to change, on which we are able to do for the improvement of our quality of life. I want to take time now also. Are you enjoying yourself at this town hall meeting? Because we want to recognize some of our sponsors and some of our future sponsors. So Hollywood Park Casino is Devin Kumar and his staff. If you enjoy your refreshments, enjoy this room, give us a hand if you would, please. Some of the goodies that is in your blue bags came from Mike Harrell, Southern California Gas Company. Give him a hand if you would, please. One of our future sponsors, Mr. Billy Campbell from Allstate Insurance, the Campbell Company. Give him a hand if you would, please. We also want to recognize local hire, local resident, Heart and Soul Communications, Dyke Ribbon and his team that's doing the broadcast. Give him a hand as well. Now I want to move on to the next presenter, which is a unique one for me, because normally we have issues about, I got this public works director, and I got this park and rec person here, and I got the police here. But now my issue is I share with you about the theme about health, wealth, and strong community growth. I now want to talk about health. You individuals that are mature adults, such as yours truly, that knows how to tie a tie, I want to now talk about the African American Eye Disease Study. Please help me recognize Mina Torres, the project director from USC.
Wow. You have many exciting projects here in Inglewood, and it is an honor to be here. My name is Mina Torres, director of the APHITS, and on behalf of Dr. Rohit Varma, who is the principal investigator of this study, chair of the Department of Ophthalmology at USC, and the USC Eye Institute, I'd like to thank you for having me here, and special thanks to Councilman Franklin, Mayor James Budd, and Inglewood for all of your support. USC Eye Institute, Keck School of Medicine of the University of California is conducting an eye study called the African American Eye Disease Study, also known as APHITS. The study is funded by the National Eye Institute. APHITS is being conducted because there is no recent data or population-based studies on age-related disease in African Americans. And African Americans have a higher burden of eye conditions associated with diabetes compared to other populations. African Americans are 4 times more likely to develop glaucoma. And data has also shown that African Americans have a greater risk of developing diabetic macular edema, one of the leading causes of blindness in diabetics. So what is APHITS? The purpose of the study is to learn more about the eye health in African American adults aged 40 years and older living in Inglewood. APHITS can help create future programs to reduce the risk of blindness in this population, in your community, and in other communities nationwide. The overall goal of APHITS is also to determine the prevalence and causes of visual impairment, blindness, and other major eye diseases such as glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, macular degeneration, and cataracts. And also to improve our understanding of the biology of these age-related eye diseases. Another goal is to understand the different risk factors associated with each condition. The findings from APHITS can help plan future programs to prevent blindness. APHITS will provide free exams to over 6,000 residents in Inglewood. We have already examined over 2,000 residents. The study will continue to be in the community for another 2.5 years. Currently, we have interviewers that are going door to door, talking with residents to determine if they are eligible and interested in participating. Interviewers will invite residents to participate in the study. They will conduct a brief survey at their home and schedule an appointment to receive their free comprehensive eye examination at our local clinic in Inglewood. Data that we collect from the home survey includes information on demographic, family history, and ocular disease, to learn more about your current conditions, any family history on systemic conditions, and also to learn about what other coexisting risk factors you may have. The eye examination at our clinic will include a comprehensive vision test that includes your near and distant vision to determine visual impairment and blindness. We also check for diabetes, cholesterol, and high blood pressure, so you get a complete health evaluation. We also check for the eye pressure and peripheral vision, which can be signs of glaucoma. We also take picture of your eye so that we can better understand the front and the back of the eye. And you also get a dilation exam, which is also very important to get a complete comprehensive and evaluation of your eye. At the end of the eye examination, you will receive a very detailed summary report and explanation of your results, which then you can share with your primary care physician, your ophthalmologist. You're also given a gift card to a local store for your participation. These are just some of the devices and cameras that we used to give you a comprehensive eye exam to better understand what kind of conditions you may have. I'd also like to share with you some of the images that I have taken from the National Eye Institute website to see what happens to our vision when we have these eye conditions. When we have cataracts, the lens becomes cloudy, and as a result, you have a blurred image. So the image on your left, that's a healthy eye. Image on the right, that's a person with cataracts. When we have glaucoma, that's increased pressure within your eye, and that can cause damage to your optic nerve. You can see that your peripheral vision is being affected, and you are only able to see the middle of the image. When you have diabetic retinopathy, that's damage to your blood vessels in the retina. And diabetic retinopathy is the most common diabetic eye disease or eye condition that leads to blindness among diabetics. Between 40 to 45% of Americans diagnosed with diabetes will have some sort of diabetic retinopathy. And you can see that that can really lead to damaging our vision and to blindness. Macular degeneration impairs our central vision. And as you can see in the image, you lose sight or focus of the faces. So often there are no symptoms to these eye conditions. And you will not know that you have these conditions unless you receive a comprehensive dilated eye examination. This is the only way your ophthalmologist can detect any early stages of any of these conditions. So what are the benefits of participating in AFITS? You not only receive a free, completely free, comprehensive eye exam by one of our eye specialists, you also get a gift card to your local store for completing the exam. All the participants are given a summary of your results, which you can go back and share with your own physician. And you also contribute to the knowledge of eye health and to help improve the eye care in future generations. I want to thank you for your time, and I hope that you can spread the news about AFITS. We have been in the community for 1 year already. Our clinic is located in the corner of La Brea in Manchester on 110 South La Brea in Inglewood. You can give us a call by phone to determine if you are eligible. For those of you that may be interested in learning more about other eye disease studies that we have conducted, the USC has conducted in other communities, you can visit our website, thehealthyeye.org. There we have presented some of the results from other studies in the Los Angeles Latino Eye Study, the Chinese American Eye Study, and also the Pediatric Eye Disease Study, which we've conducted in the past. Again, I want to thank you for your time. I want to urge every resident to speak to our field interviewers, to participate in this study. The only way that we can voice your results and make a difference in what we find here is to get complete participation. So I urge you to all please participate. If you have any questions about the study, my phone number is listed on the slide, and I'm happy to speak with you or any other member that may have any questions.
Okay, so we'll take questions or comments. Anyone? In the back.
Can you give us your number? Oh, okay. There it is.
So my direct line is the first number, 865-6912.
Gentleman up front.
Who's actually funding
The study? The study is funded by the National Eye Institute. If you visit their website, they have data from other studies that have been completed across the nation. And so the goal is to really learn more about what are the differences in risk factors and what are the differences in causes of these eye diseases across different populations. So to answer your question, it's funded by the National Eye Institute. Yes.
I live in one of the gated communities, and I wanted to ask if you've been in the Renaissance, because I haven't seen
Thank you so much for bringing that question up. We've had some challenges going into the gated communities. We've been able to visit the Briarwood community, but we would very much like to come to your community. We just need a contact person so that we can go through the door.
Okay, any other question or comments? See none? Oh, we have one up front. Plant. He works with her, that's all.
Yes.
Hi, I'm James Clark, and I just want to let everyone know that we will be at one of your block parties in your district this afternoon. I believe that block party is at 109th and Chinera Avenue.
Yes.
Yes, so please join us if you can. We will be there.
That's why W.G. Howard is not here. He's our commissioner as well. Okay, let's give her a hand if you would, please. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Okay. Okay, so as I shared with you earlier, that our theme was health, wealth, and strong community growth. Now it's time for wealth. But before I do that, I want to let you know that where our money came from Sacramento, was not just handouts, but it was a warrior that represented the 51st Assembly District and said they wanted to make a difference while being in office. This is an ally of District 4 in the city of Inglewood, my personal friend, that has made a significant difference for our community and the city and look to do even more good things. I want him to come up and say a few words. Mr. Steve Bradford, would you please come and say a few remarks? Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I am truly honored just to be here, and I wasn't expected to speak, but I'm always impressed with the great turnout of the 4th District. So I think you need to give your councilman a round of applause for his outreach, his service, and we're often been called politicians, but this is a public servant. It's a public servant who just happens to be elected. That's how I viewed it. That's how Mr. Franklin has always conducted himself. So you're honored and you're lucky to have such a great public servant serving you. And I was honored to represent the city of Inglewood and work with hardworking council people like Mr. Franklin, Mr. Padilla, who just walked in as well, Mayor Butts. This is a city that is moving together in a unified front. So you're lucky to be living in Inglewood at this time because there's a lot of great things happening in Inglewood. And I look forward to continuing my work with Councilman Franklin. But real quick, tomorrow in the city of Gardena, can anybody tell me what's happening tomorrow in Gardena? The Jazz Festival. All right, well, I was here to give Councilman, hey, wait a minute. I was here to give Councilman Franklin a pair of tickets, but he says he can't go tomorrow, and he wants me to give them away to the community. So I don't know how we're going to figure this out, but if someone could tell me what year is this for the Jazz Festival? I'm not that old. I haven't heard it yet. Year 13, Gardena Jazz Festival. We started it 13 years ago in the city of Gardena. Can you go? We want these tickets used. All right, here we go. So tomorrow, 13th Annual Gardena Jazz Festival, there's Councilman Franklin's pair of tickets. So, and before I get out of the way, as Councilman Franklin stated, I represented Inglewood for 5 years in the legislature and served right next door in the city of Gardena for 12 years on the council. And next year, I would love to talk to you about my Senate campaign and counting on each and every one of you as we move forward. So thank you very much.
Let's give him a hand, if you would, please. So one of the reasons why I asked one reason why, I asked Steve Bradford to be up here, because Steve, you know what, do I need to take my tickets back or what? But I wanted him to get his kudos because it was through his fight that helped us get the gas tax we need to get these alleys done that we've been fighting for the last 20 years. And he has been the trailblazer to get our money available for the last several years. And that's why because he's the trailblazer, he's helped me move forward because he's already put the wheels in motion to get the next alleys done in the next year's budget. So I just want to make sure you got recognition of that. Thank you very much. Now y'all can visit. So now, speaking of visiting, and that's visiting meaning your wallets, there's a major concern regarding representatives being available for their retirement, for their future. And before I do that, I see my colleague strolling in the back who just came from his pancake breakfast. Please help me recognize my colleague, Councilman Alex Padilla, District 2. He's been very active in the district, and another dear friend of his, Renee Talbert, who also is a liaison with the city of Inglewood with Inglewood Unified School District. Thank you, Renee. But the last presenter is a quality presenter that I met networking. Him and his wife and I met, believe it, at the International Shoppers Convention while I'm looking for the retail stores to replace Bed Bath & Beyond and Office Depot. Well, him and his wife approached me and said, I want to talk to you about financial literacy. And particularly, I want to find out, it's a sad, sad story when you start hearing on the news, 3 out of 4 Americans have not prepared for retirement. And unfortunately, if you know the biblical principle, and I teach it all the time about seed, time, and harvest, if you don't have that time and you're not doing the preparation, when it's time to harvest for your retirement, it's not there. So I wanted to bring a young man, financial expert, to say he wants to reach out to you. Now, the city can't endorse the program, the company, but clearly we can endorse the concept. So please help me recognize Kevin Haddock, who's the Senior Marketing Director on Tips on Personal Financial Planning. Kevin?
Good afternoon, residents of City of Inglewood. I just want to, before I begin my slideshow, just really want to just express my feelings of gratitude to the city. And just, you guys are in an amazing position right now where you have a lot of forward thinking and a lot of provocative thought processes that are going on. How are we doing back there? Can you guys hear me? So I just want to announce an attitude of gratitude that I have just to be able to come and address you guys here as a whole and just teach you guys some concepts that my company really believes in. And the name of our company, let's back it up one, please. I'm in a position where I get to bring to you guys a lot of value and a power of choices. Our company is World Financial Group. We're backed by a 150-year-old company that's been in the investment and security industry over 150 years, has over $600 billion in assets. But one thing that they recognize is that not a lot of people know who they are. So we are able to be in a position where we represent the people for a lot of the different companies out of there versus one company to the people. And so our company, World Financial Group, I don't think our slide shows here. There we go. We actually have what we call the power of choice. So we work with a lot of different financial service companies that have been doing it a lot better than us for very many years. And so what we do now is we educate families in the community about products and services that are offered to all, but a lot of people actually don't have access to this information because the companies that we deal with, they just don't have the manpower to come out and share this information. So it's our job, our duty to get this information out. So you guys can see there we work with a lot of different well-known, respected names in the industry: Transamerica, Prudential, Pacific Life, Jackson National, Franklin Templeton, Nationwide. Nationwide's on your side, right? So a lot of times when you see that commercial, though, you're not going to put down your drink in the middle of the Super Bowl and follow Peyton Manning's directions and give the phone call to Nationwide to see if they could be on your side. So that's where our company comes in and really brings the information to the people that we serve, which is the community. So being a financial service company, we get to deal with a lot of financial products that are generated or designed to increase your net worth. So we have a lot of access to IRAs, Roth IRAs, mutual funds, long-term care disability insurance, 401ks, college fund, 529 plans, annuities, both fixed and variable, life insurance, term and permanent. So we're kind of like a financial Foot Locker, if you will. If you were to walk into a Nike store, you're probably going to come out with a pair of Nikes. But with our firm, we feel that Nikes might not be the best fit or size or might not be the best color, so we get to offer a lot of variety of products. So when we sit down, when we talk to families, generally we have a no family left behind mentality. And when we're talking to families, there's 2 types of families out there. The first one here is family A. And families in this category here usually earn $100,000 or less a year. They don't have a financial advisor. They don't have a plan on how to get out of this situation. A lot of times they're putting money in the bank where there's very, very low rates of interest or return. There's usually insufficient life insurance protection in the household. A lot of these families are dealing with credit card debt. The average family we sit with has anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000 of debt, and a lot of times we don't see that anymore because it's already in collections. A lot of these families are renters, and they have minimal tax advantages, and this is actually a majority of the population, close to around 95%. And family B, these are families who earn $100,000 a year or more. They usually have a financial coach, professional, showing them how to make their money grow. They have a diversified portfolio, meaning there's money coming in from multiple income streams, and they generally have a higher rate of return. These are families who have permanent life insurance protection. They usually live debt-free. they're homeowners, and they maximize their tax advantages. And families in this category, it's actually a small percentage of the population, closer to like 3%. And really what our firm believes is that if we can share concepts from Category B that these families have known for decades and give them to the families in Category A, we'll slowly but surely make a very big impact in our community. So one of the most important things, and we're going to have some fun with this, I'm going to share with you guys, it's called the Rule of 72. How many in this room have heard of the Rule of 72 by a show of hands? Look around. Very, very few. And this is a very, very impactful concept that really shows us how money can grow and how we can take a bigger bite out of our interest. So I'm going to wave my magic wand here. We're all age 29 years old. Okay? So the way this works is if we had our money in a 1% account, what we do is we take the number 72 and we divide it by the interest we're earning on our money, and that's going to tell us how long it's going to take that money to compound and double. Okay? So if we had our money in a 1% account, if we do the Rule of 72 on that, it's going to take 72 years for our money to double. Okay, if we were all 29 years old and we had $10,000 in a 1% account, what that means is it's going to take 72 years for that money to double. We'll be 101 years old by the time that money turns into $20,000. Most of us won't be here. The cities might have the pavement done by then, but a lot of the times. Okay, so when we look at a higher rate of return, let's look at a 4%. Now the money's going to double every 18 years. So that $10,000 has more time to grow. By the time we reach 65, it's $40,000. But I don't know if anybody in this room that can retire on $40,000. It's not going to cut it, not in California, right? So if we look at a higher rate of return, there's a 6%. It's going to double every 12 years. By the time you reach 65, you'll have $80,000. But if we look at 12%, now the money's doubling very, very quickly. And most people would say, oh, the money would probably double from 80 to 160, but what happens is because the money has more time to grow and compound, it actually grows a lot faster. So what happens is every 6 years that money's going to double. By the time you reach 65, you'll have $640,000. So that's quite a big difference from the 1% or the less than 1% that we're earning at the banks. So we encourage the families that we talk to really look at their interest rates and see where to get a better rate of return because it can have a very impactful effect there. So we also talk about basically how money works, and there's 3 ways that money really can grow for you. It's a fixed account, which is basically everything in the bank. You have CDs, bonds, money markets, and these accounts, they really don't grow very much. There's really only about 0 to 2% gains of interest there, which really doesn't keep pace with inflation. We look at variable accounts. Anybody want to raise their hand on that one? Stock market, right? Looks like a roller coaster. I don't know if any in this room, maybe some of the people out there gambling, but I'm sure not many people like roller coasters with their money. Okay, so we educate families on that. There's also indexed accounts that are out there for growth. They're designed to have principal protection. They're designed to have downside protection and minimum guarantees. Okay, we also talk about how your money gets taxed. Not many people I know like to pay taxes, but we all know that we have a responsibility. But there's tax now, later, and never. Accounts that are being taxed now, which is every single year. These are your bank accounts, bank CDs, your stocks, your mutual funds. When your money makes money, Uncle Sam needs to know, and you have to report that. Okay, tax later, these are your 401ks, 403bs, your IRAs, SEP IRAs, annuities, pension plans. A lot of people that I sit with, when they have a 401k, they feel that over time they'll be exempt from taxes. So we educate them that you're not going to get away from those taxes. Uncle Sam's going to know. And are taxes going up or down? Up. So if we pay the taxes later, they're probably going to be at a higher amount of taxation. Okay? So we also talk about tax never products. These are Roth IRAs, municipal bonds, 529 plans, and 7702 IULs. Okay? Oops. So we can talk about all the problems all day long, but we really have to come up and develop some solutions. So one of those is that we educate families on earning additional income, cash flow, managing their expenses. It's not enough to just save it. We have to get more. We also talk about debt management, teach families how to consolidate debt and strive to eliminate debt. A lot of the reasons why families get into a financial struggle in the first place is just habits and choices. So we teach them to try to make better habits and choices with their money. We also very strongly advocate having an emergency fund. Just saving 3 to 6 months of your income can have a huge impact if something happens. Maybe the company loses funding for a program and you're laid off, or they lose your job completely. So we always want to make sure that we prepare for those emergencies. We also talk about proper protection, just having protection against loss of income. Some of that can come from the emergency fund, but protecting family assets. If we go to work every single day and strive to build wealth, we want to be able to preserve that wealth. So it's important to have the proper protection. Asset accumulation, we really talk about and emphasize outplacing inflation just to minimize their taxation, and also talk about professional money management concepts. And then we talk about estate preservation, reducing estate taxes and just building a family legacy, because most of us, when we leave this earth, we don't want to leave behind liabilities, we want to leave behind a legacy. Okay? So that's our company name. What I've done is, on the desk out there, I've kind of placed some comment cards, reviews, and then there's some information that you can give me on the back if you'd like to be contacted by a representative of our firm. Our office is based out of Santa Fe Springs, and we have a staff fully trained and ready to go to help you guys out with all of your information. And on the front, there's also a flyer with my business card, and then it talks a little bit about some of the slides that I had. So I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Sure. All right, so Kevin's up for a few questions. He doesn't have the money, so don't ask for that.
I'd like to ask a general question. Last night on the news, they were talking about 401ks. Do you know what the scare was?
I hear scary things about the 401k every day, but in particular, what would?
I didn't get a chance to see the.
Yeah, so the stock market's down about 533 points, which is our largest fall in about 4 years. And I don't know if it's the start of the beginning, but I guarantee you that it's not going to get better right now. So, and then that's the other side of the volatile market. When you put your money in a 401k, it is based on the stock market. So if you do have money in a 401k, you definitely want to start looking at that and keeping an eye on that to make sure that you don't have a potential loss of accumulation.
Yeah, and it also had to do with the volatility about the potential war that may occur between North Korea and South Korea, and that immediately shocked the investors, so that's when they announced about the stocks dropping. Any other question or comment? Yes.
Yes, if you have an annuity, is that...
Mike, please.
Oh.
Thank you.
I have an annuity account. Is that taxed never, or is that taxed later?
Usually on an annuity, that is a tax-deferred account. So what will happen is they have what's called a 59.5 rule. And if you access the money prior to age 59.5, you will be assessed a 10% penalty plus all the tax liabilities. But once you pull that money out after age 59.5, you still have to pay the taxation.
Okay.
Okay, any other question or comment? Gentleman in the back, if we can get the mic. No, we're recording. Thank you, Mr. Talbot, for your cooperation.
Yes, there's a lot of push towards gold bullion. Give a comparison of your thoughts on that and what you were talking about here today.
This is my own expressed belief on that, but just like we're talking about wars in other countries affecting our stock market, that's a very volatile metal, and there's definitely safer places to invest money.
Okay, any other question or comment? Seeing none, let's give Kevin a hand, if you would please. Thank you so much. So you heard him mention about trying to increase your portfolio with funding. So if you see this grumpy old man rattling your blue trash bins, it's your councilman trying to make an extra revenue, okay? Also, in this town hall meeting, we had a lot of information provided called knowledge. Did you get anything out of this? Did you get anything out of this? Because my firm belief, with knowledge, there is power. That you now have the knowledge, go exercise your power. God bless you all for coming. The meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you very much.